China's cultural modes of communication. Although China is fastly modernizing, there are still vast differences in the ways in which Chinese interact with Western people and the world at large. The key function of Chinese communication strategy boils down to maintaining existing relationships between individuals, while emphasizing and adhering to status and role differences, with the ultimate aim being to preserve harmony within the group. According to Gert Hofstede, China ranks the lowest compared to other Asian countries in the factor of individualism, which is greatly attributed to the communist rule which reiterated on the collective culture. The low individualism ranking manifests the Chinese value being a member and close to a group, be it a family, or extended relationships. China thrills in strong relationships, where each and every one is taking responsibilities of their group, and loyalty is quite important. Chinese like to successfully integrate with others, and conflict must at all costs be avoided. Communication in China should strengthen relationships and not challenge them. Nonverbal communication in China. Nonverbal communication includes facial expressions, eye contact, gestures, and tone of voice. Different nationalities have their specific emotions and gestures that have a different meaning. It's imperative to understand the basics of nonverbal communication, since they might mean something totally different in other culture. China is one of the largest countries in the world, and it's where civilization and ancient culture was born. Since the Chinese are greatly influenced by Confucius' philosophical thinking, they're more reserved, and their gestures are less expensive. However, nonverbal communication in Chinese speaks volume. The Chinese greatly advocate for peace and collectiveness, and they rely on tonal voice, facial expression, and posture to know how the person is feeling. Frowning when someone is speaking can be viewed as a way of disagreement. Hence, the Chinese try and maintain quiet and impassive expression during the speech. Next is gestures. Polite nods are common when greeting someone, but due to the restrained style, the gestures are not as frequent. Unlike in United States, pointing is done with the entire hand, rather than one finger. Third is personal space. The Chinese tend to be comfortable standing just over an arm's length from one another. When meeting strangers, this distance will be farther. Fourth is physical contact. The Chinese generally do not touch people that are strangers to them unless it is unavoidable, specifically in a crowd. However, close friends of the same gender may stand or sit close to one another or walk arm in arm. They will avoid touching during conversation unless it is to a family member, a close friend, or a partner. Fifth is eye contact. Direct eye contact is generally favored over indirect eye contact. It is considered a sign of politeness. When conversing with an unfamiliar elder, one may lower their head to lower their gaze. This is a sign of respect. Sixth is silence. Silence is an important and purposeful tool used in Chinese communication. Pausing before giving a response indicates that someone has applied appropriate thought and consideration to the question. This signifies politeness and respect. Seventh is pointing. It is a common for people to point with their index finger. This is not considered rude, unlike in the United States. And whistling is considered rude. Chinese verbal communication style. The Chinese people value a slower, less aggressive approach and would prefer to slowly conceptualize an idea before commenting on it. Some of the preferred Chinese communication styles include, first is indirect communication. Chinese communicate in a way that you need to read between the lines to get to know what exactly they imply. The Chinese people would, in such a scenario, just nod on your opinion, even if they don't agree with what you are saying. They do this to honor and respect others' opinion, since being too direct may be perceived as humiliating, and the other person may come across as rude. Blunt communication makes Chinese quite uncomfortable, so they prefer the subtle, indirect ways of delivering their opinions and thoughts. Second is laughter. When relaying bad news, a Chinese person may smile and laugh to diffuse the uncomfortable situation. And third is voice. In China, men generally speak louder than women. When woman talks loudly, she may be considered to have bad manners. Fourth is language. Standard Chinese, known as Mandarin, is based on the Beijing dialect and is the official national language. Most people can read, write, and speak Mandarin as it is taught in schools. Chinese is a tonal language, meaning that a single word may have multiple meanings depending on how it is pronounced. For example, the word ma can mean scold, linen, horse, or mother, depending on the tone used by the speaker. Many people will also use the language or dialect of their geographic region. That's all for the cultural modes of communication of the country China. Thank you for watching and see you soon.